April Fools, I got you again. I see you. You thought, yeah, yes you did. Don't lie to me. You thought, and I've got something else to show you. You see this? You see this shirt that I'm wearing right here? You see this little bit right here? That doesn't line up. And now you're going to be thinking about that for the rest of the video. Enjoy. You know what? That was really mean of me. That was really mean of me. I could have given you something. You know what? Just this one time. Well, I did it before, but just this one time again, I will nya for you, okay? I know how much you guys want that. So you ready? Here we go. I'm gonna nya for you, okay? But I do have a gift for all you fools who I tricked. You glorious April foolish bastards is what you are. I am going to talk about world building, because it's not like I don't do enough for that already. I thought I'd treat you all today by talking about, like showcasing how Thunderhive came to being and some of the other worlds in my biggest stories. Not the small ones, that would take way too long, but we'll do the big ones. We'll leave Quarian Saga out, but of course we'll do Space Pirates, we'll do Moth, and we'll do Buster Warrior. Oh, do you like my hat, by the way? I'm a hat guy now. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. So I also wanted to make a sequel to this video here, which is the lore video, the big lore video that barely anyone saw. I commissioned music for that video. Did you know that? No, you didn't, did you? No, because you never saw it, did you? You know, I try really hard, and you know, sometimes things just don't go my way, but that's okay, you know, the algorithm. But anyway, if you want to see the video, it'll be in the description. It's probably too confusing for your tiny pea brains to handle. You cannot understand the complexities of the Panomniverse. So when we last left off, we were talking about how Stellia basically turned the Landstar, this utopia of humanity and all other races that eventually conglomerated there, into essentially a planet of terrorists. And yeah, then no one likes them. No one likes humans anymore. It's very sad. Press F in chat. And the humans, they don't really like the idea of being terrorists. I mean, who wants to be a terrorist? I mean, it's not like this is CSGO or anything. That was a bad joke, wasn't it? Yeah, don't laugh at that. The humans start a big old civil war on the Landstar. They start this civil war, and then a bunch of them die because Stellia has the star captains on her side, and she can just say, hey, wipe out massive groups of people, and they'll be like, okay, you're the boss, you know what's best for us, so we'll go ahead and do it for you. So they wipe out just a ton of people, and it's around this time that Solara shows up to discover what's sort of been going on, and she's kind of looking for the Landstar solely so that she can defeat this giant robot that's just destroying all these planets. You know, Hoag's object is just going through it at the time. You know, it's terrible, terrible time. They always seem to be prone to tyrants, you know, with Cerebellius and all that stuff, you know, it's just crazy. Solara, she kind of ends up staging a massive rebellion against Stellia, and it makes sense because a lot of the humans and even the star captains just like, you know what, I'm kind of not okay with this. I don't really know what's right and what's wrong anymore. And Stellia, I've always believed, is, you know, been always telling the truth, always been righteous, but this is kind of getting a little ridiculous. I mean, we're attacking our own people. That is not a Ryan 100 maneuver right there. Solara, she eventually finds her way with her little ragtag rebellion. She finds her way all the way to Dynasty. Dynasty is the place where the ruling elite are, in a sense. They're called the ruling elite because they sort of gauge the power systems and all that stuff. The Landstar has infinite energy, which means that it doesn't need any currency, because if you have infinite energy, you can make infinite resources. With infinite resources, you can make infinite stuff. Everyone has everything, and we're all equal, and we can just do what we like for a change. And you know, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Very, very nice. Oh, fuck. And so, Solara confronts Stellia, and she's all like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you killing people? What is wrong with you? And Stellia's like, you don't know me. You don't know what it's like to rule a fucking planet. And so I was like, yes, because no one should rule a fucking planet. No one should have that much power over an entire planet. That's stupid. Why? And so Stelia's like, oh, you think you can do better? And Solara's like, fuck yeah, I can do better than you. And she's like, fine, take over. And she's like, fine, I will. And then the apparent government shows up and they're all like, we're actually going to, now that you've given us the location of the Landstar, we're gonna attack you guys because you've been like destroying everything. Stelia's like, okay, all right, listen, this is okay, fine, listen, just let everyone else go free. I'm the one who sort of told everyone to do all the terrible things, so why don't you just take me and let everyone else go? The Heron's like, I don't know, but I mean, okay, I guess, if you can promise that they'll never hurt anyone again. And Solara and Stelia both say, yeah, no, absolutely not, that's not happening again. They take Stelia, she gets her arms ripped off or something, ends up becoming the Dark Raven or something like that, I forget exactly what happens. She goes away, she's never seen again. Solara's in charge of the whole Landstar, and immediately she's like, you know what, fuck this shit, I just said I wasn't gonna be running the whole fucking thing, I'm going to split this up among my diplomats and my star captains. They're all gonna run individual countries. Hazel gets Kwai, I think Forks gets Saboteur. I don't remember. That's the thing. All the buildings that you see on Landstar. Do you want to see the Landstar? Hang on. There you go. That's the Landstar right there. It's a big ship. It's the size of a planet, right? And each of those buildings that you see is around the size of a country, and each one of them is a country. So there's Avantius, Sabaton is the big sort of wall that surrounds them all, and the whole sort of area with all those countries is called Amaranth. And then the city on the top of it is called Dynasty. That's where Stelia was, and now it's where Solara is. I spent $600 on that image. You're probably asking, why? Why did you spend $600 of your hard-earned blue-collar money on an image that's barely ever going to see any use? It's a big spaceship. It looks really cool. It's pretty. I simp. Solara takes the Landstar and says, okay, listen guys, we've been doing a lot of crap lately. A lot of really crazy crap. I mean, Jesus Christ, let's go into hiding and just figure our shit out. The societies of the galaxy, they don't like us. And for good reason, we killed a lot of people. Let's just hide away and pretend we don't exist for a bit. Then Dr. Arkov Sosha, she shows up. She's like a new and upcoming scientist in the land of science. And she shows up and she says to Solara, I did a not so legal expedition to the planet of Dunmore, and I found this ship from the original galaxy that the ship came from. Solara's like, oh yeah, what? And it's like, it's the Fireflash, this spacecraft that has a big old lore thing about how it was like supposed to test how fast and far you could go in the Tesseract dimension. Tesseract dimension is how space travel works in my universe. There's another dimension where distance is meaningless and you can like connect 2 points together and bam, you're in this other area. It's crazy. It's cool. They've never done it on anything as big as the Landstar, and for some reason, whenever they do test runs on opening up a portal to the Tesseract dimension, the untemporal energy of the Lightmaster engines, as well as everyone who's been affected by the untemporal energy, so all the star captains and all the humor alters that Stelia made, they all react and they seem to make the rift unstable. So Star Captain Forks and a bunch of just the humor alters are moved off the Landstar so that they can perform the practice experiment safely. The experiment still goes wrong, there's still something going wrong, and so the Landstar ends up trapped in the Tesseract dimension. It becomes warp locked. And Forks, he turns to Arkov Soch and he says, what the fuck? I live there! I live there, why did you do? I live there! What am I supposed to do? This is my home, my family, they're all on that fucking ship and you just sort of, what was that? And Arkov Soch is just like, fucking skillish, you dude. But okay, fine, if you're gonna be a big fucking baby about the whole thing, I'll go and fix the problem. I will go to Shornatis, this big planet where all of Hoeg's object dumps all their shit, so she goes to this planet and she starts building something to get into the Tesseract dimension. Now, the Tesseract dimension, without any of the research that she had accumulated from Fireflash, she's basically starting from ground zero, and she's got no idea how to do it. And she spends her entire life trying to save the Landstar, trying to correct the mistake that she made. And when this is happening, while all that is going on, Forks, he takes all the humor alters. He remembers that Solara gave him a log of Star Captain Grips, his old mentor, And the log said that at one point he went to a place called the Gallipoli system, where it was just an asteroid belt surrounding a star. They decide, okay, let's put all the human alters in stasis. Let's travel over to the Gallipoli system. It's a bit far, but I'm immortal and they're not. So we'll put them in stasis and I'll just take them there and we'll all be good and we'll be happy and everything will be fucking great. So they go to the Gallipoli system. When they get there, they find that the whole thing is infested with giant tropical megapedes. They're like centipedes, but big and alien. Foxy's like, well, I gotta unfreeze some guys, make an army, and go exterminatus on this fucking place. So they do that. They go and they kill a bunch of the megapedes. They basically commit genocide on a semi-hostile alien race. And after that, they establish Thunderhive. That's as simple as that. And oh yes, Lord Heartburn, his parents were there. Yeah, they were there. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there. You know, there's a bunch of other stuff I didn't cover, like how there was a civil war in Thunderhive in the year 390. But also, I just didn't want to bother with any of that right now because that's all story stuff that could be used for later, and I don't want to go in any spoiler territory. We'll get to it eventually. I've actually already made reference to it. If you can find the video, it kind of got lost in all the archives. But nah. Now, what about the other two? Let's talk about Bastard Warrior first. Bastard Warrior, okay, is a bit weird. So we're gonna start at the first official alien contact humankind made. That species happens to be the Fengrels. Do you guys remember the Fengrels from the Force scene? They're a little bit different now because it's been a good couple billion years and they've forgone talking. They don't talk anymore and they've split up into 7 clans and they don't have a home anymore. So they kind of just wander around, do their own thing. This clan that they've run into is called the Mariners, and these Mariners, they're looking for a place called the Ravenous Sea where they hope to hunt down a creature called the Reverse Spike Trisectomole. Very rare, very dangerous. If you want to know what that is, think of an armadillo, but with reverse Sonic the Hedgehog spikes. Sunset sarsaparilla made with the ingredients exclusive to the Mojave Desert. Danger. Why is there a danger label on this fucking thing? I don't fucking know. The human race encounters the Mariners, and they go, oh, who are you guys? What do you guys do? And they go, because they've forgotten talking, right? And so they're like, oh, well, what are you doing here? And they go, like, okay, you can't just keep doing this shit, okay? We're trying to help you out here, trying to figure it out. Eventually they just go. And so the human race eventually figures out that they're actually talking using body language. The whole time I was tap dancing under here. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. I'm clever. I'm a good writer. And the tap dancing meant we're going to the fucking Ravenous Sea. It's a teleporting place that is dragged by all these fucking big scary monsters. We're gonna kill one of them. And the humans are like, that sounds awesome. Can we send a team to go with you guys? We'll send Lars Dovanik and his ship, the Ravinica of Landstar. And they go with them and they get trapped, and then all the humans except for Lars die and they come back because the Fengrels are super great. They're all wonderful people. I love them. Lars Dovanik returns and everything's cool and stuff. But then he kills a bunch of military families because he has massive PTSD from being trapped in the Ravenous Sea. This eventually leads to him getting he gets imprisoned because of course he does, and then he has to go on trial and Ryan is presiding because this is a big fucking deal. They've never had to deal with anything like this before, and this is a very big test for the judiciary system of Landstar. They realize, okay, there's clearly something wrong with his brain. What if we just, I don't know, take him to the Genesis Force, a special place where we can look at a human from a molecular level, figure out what's wrong, get rid of the issue, and send him back into society. Perfectly brand new. He's just, he's fresh. He's fresh off the presses. Don't have to worry about him anymore. A bunch of the military families, the people who got, like hurt by them, are just like, that's fucked up. Why would you do that? No, we want this man dead. We don't want him rehabilitated. We want him fucking dead. He killed us. He killed all of our brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and shit. No, want him dead. Not rehabilitated. Oh, look, he's happy now. Oh, I'm Lars Dovanik. I'm a captain. I can do things again. I'm normal. Ryan's like, no, I mean, come on. This is just, I get it. We'll we'll throw like funerals and stuff for everyone. We'll make it a big thing. It's fine. And they're like, no, absolutely not. My phone is no. I'm trying to prevent that from happening. I'm balancing my phone on my bed. That's how I've been able to do that this whole time. I am teetering on the brink. Whoa. Whew. Okay, anyway. Lars Dervanik gets rehabilitated. Everyone hates it. Well, the people who disagree with Ryan's decision hate it. And they decide, you know what? We know about this one planet that was discovered by a bunch of scientists. This place called New Tennessee. And apparently it's okay for the Home Finders Association to say, hey, if you want to live here, you can. Why don't we all just gather together and fuck off from this place? We're going to start our own government with our own form of justice, yeah? It's going to be our own thing. It's going to be great, and no one is going to die again. Except for the people who need to die in the first place. They make an order of paladins called the Order of New Tennessee. It's led by a guy by the name of Shieldmaster Kreven. He's called Shieldmaster because he was a shield mate who helped to protect the Landstar. Now he's the Paladin King. He's the first Paladin King of New Tennessee. They create this whole justice system, and they kill the scientists who are researching things because apparently New Tennessee had a bunch of ancient aliens on it or whatever. And so these paladins are just like, you know what? No, because this research is getting way too unethical. I don't like the sound of it. It's almost a cult. And what we're going to do instead is we're just going to worship this stuff. Because that's not a cult at all. And that's how New Tennessee ended up adopting all the paladin stuff. And then how the Triad got formed, because they realized there were 3 gods, Cindergorn, Tregus, and Emperor. And then a bunch of other stuff happened, which I'm not going to talk about. Right, that's 2 down. We have 1 more to go. How you guys feeling? You doing all right? Have you been following so far? No? I don't give a shit. Moving on, Moth. Now, Moth is based on a world called Manus. Manus is one of the first worlds discovered by the Landstar. The Landstar discovered it, and they were like, ooh, wow, this world is really cool. It's fresh, it's vibrant, I like it. But there's a very strange and odd thing about it. There's a thing about it. It's got this weird compound. It's very dormant, but it's fucking everywhere. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it does. And you'll be breathing it in if you go there. But I don't think it does anything, so we're just going to send a group of people down. They were very wrong. This compound did little more than nothing. If it came into contact with anything of high-tech electrical alien works, alien in the sense that it didn't come from that world, it would explode it. So basically the first ship that was sent out by, I think, the NTS, which is a special exploration guild, they sent out a ship there, and the crew of that ship, they all died except for one man. That man's name is Cage Wayfarer, and he would later become Zorantharos. Ah, you know that name from a few places, don't you? Zorantharos, he's on this planet, and he's just kind of like, I guess I have to start a fucking new life now. I mean, Christ, there's a lot of cool things here, but I can't really, I feel a bit stranded here. So, and there's no one going to come to help him because every ship they would send would explode. So it's like, well, I guess I'm stuck here forever now. He goes off on his own little adventure. He's really cool. He has this cool adventure where he discovers the primordial titans. Eventually, those primordial titans become the titans we know today, like Shi-Khan and Senthine, and also Sarathol, which I mentioned like once or twice, I think. But yeah, they're the titans, and they're all over the place. The Landstar does send another group to Manus, but it's different this time, because they send a group using low-tech stuff. They basically get as low as they can to the surface of the planet without touching any of the Faena, that's the chemical compound that's in the air, the Faena, and they just put a guy in a big balloon and send him down and then parachute. And that's how that works. And they send like a bunch of people down there. Why do they do that? Despite the fact knowing that they never see them again? Research purposes. I think there's another reason, but I think that's a pretty good reason in my opinion. So these people, they eventually build a city together. They build Manus City, the first settlement ever created on Manus. And they're so proud of it. So they also discover that the Faena does actually affect human biology. Well, Zorantharos discovers it first, but like it's more official when you have like known living people on the Landstar who, can tell you this information, because they can tell, because they discover they can actually send like telepathic messages and shit to the Landstar now, because they're fucking wizards, all of them. The chemical gave them an extra gland inside of themselves that collects Faina and allows them to be chemically in tuned to cast spells. They're fucking space wizards. It's awesome. Why don't you believe me? Oh my fucking god. Now over time, the Faina will mutate them into something eventually called sorcerers. But as they're getting there, the progression to that point is, oh, look at this new form of magic we've got. Now if you have a certain magical attunement, you can just cast spells freehand. You don't need to use any special items or anything like that. And that is currently what Zed is struggling with. Zed, you remember Zed from the series? He has a low attunement, which means he can only do basic wizard level stuff, old magic stuff. He can't do any of this new magic where you can just cast spells at instant will as long as you focus on the spell. So he's kind of, you know, he's struggling. He's still a wizard. He can still do wizardy things. It's just, also, while you're on the planet, as long as you have Faina around you, you basically have infinite mana, but if you leave the planet, you can only cast maybe like 3 or 4 spells before you're completely drained. And if you stay drained for long enough, you stop being a Manasian, which is the subcategory of human that absorbs the fucking Faina. So yeah, that is all the worlds that I made for the stories that you know of. There are other worlds, obviously. There's New Mesopotamia, New Florida, which I haven't talked about yet. There's a whole bunch of worlds. Concordia, of course you guys know about Concordia. There's Ancana, there's all these other crazy worlds, but I haven't talked about them yet because I don't think you're ready. Because let's be real here, you were all very confused during this whole video, and this is just supposed to be an April Fool's video, right? So, I mean, who ultimately cares? But I do hope that the lore gremlins in the chat absolutely love this little extra bit I added on to the Panomnicon. Even though it's not really a Panomnicon add-on, but you know, what can you do, right? Anyway, I hope you somewhat enjoyed the video. You like my bottle flips, by the way? I'm so bad at them. It's great, isn't it? If you're wondering, no, I'm not actually a Naruto fan. I just like the design. That's all. Happy April Fools. Oh, one other thing. We're doing an art contest because this month happens to be my birth month. So on the 11th, that's my birthday. There is no theme this time because, well, it's my birth month, right? Like, I mean, usually I do the seasonal stuff, but because it's just my birthday, I kind of want you guys to just have fun with this one. Because, you know, always about having fun on the channel, right? Enough shit going on in the world to worry about restrictions and all that shit, right? So just have fun with this one, okay? See you around, guys.
Black cat creeping through the forest. Hey, the bumpy toe, jump aside. Black cat sneaking through the forest. A vulture circles the sky. Jump aside.